Good afternoon, evening, depending on when you see this. Today's video is very late. I apologize for that. I got a little sideways today with some other things and I wasn't able to update this when I anticipated, but hopefully you'll find this interesting enough that you will excuse my tardiness. Today is October the 21st. Today I'm doing something very different than the norm for us. I'm going to talk about traffic lights, traffic control devices, because I got a little bit interested in that today, just sitting around thinking about it and how they do pertain to our life in general. So I'm going to talk about the history of traffic lights for a few minutes, and then I'll read a couple of Bible verses that I think pertain in very general ways to that. Hopefully you'll find it interesting and you'll come back tomorrow for something else. If you have any comments, I would love to hear them. I will put a link to a short video that I thought was equally interesting, maybe even more interesting, about the history of traffic lights. It is very short, it's like a minute long or something, but it's very interesting. So I hope you'll watch that too. So here we go. The history of traffic lights began in 1868 with the first gas-lit, manually operated semaphore signal in London. It was quickly removed after an explosion. The first electric traffic light was developed in 1912 by a man named Lester Wire in Salt Lake City. It was actually installed in Cleveland, Ohio. And the first three-color system, including a yellow caution light, was invented by a man named William Potts in Detroit in 1920. I believe both of these gentlemen were police officers by trade. These inventions eventually led to an automated computerized systems that we use today. And I will include a video from a channel on YouTube called The History of Stuff, which has, I don't know how many videos they have on this channel, History of Stuff, but they have a lot of videos and they're all very interesting. Early developments. 1868, the first traffic signal, which was inspired by railway signals, was installed outside the House of Parliament in London, and it used semaphore arms for stop and caution with red and green gas lamps for nighttime use. 1869, the first traffic light exploded due to a gas leak and the system was removed. The electric age began in 1912 when a policeman, like I said, Lester Wire, invented the first electric traffic light using red and green lights and a buzzer. In 1914, the first electric traffic light system was installed at the intersection of Euclid Avenue and East 105th Street in Cleveland, Ohio. It was still manually operated, however, by a police officer. In 1917, in Salt Lake City, they installed the first interconnected, though still manually controlled, traffic signal at 6 connected intersections, and they were all manually operated by police officers. And you'll find that throughout the first probably 30 or so odd years of traffic lights, they were manually controlled by police officers. The modern three-color system began in 1920 with William Potts, a Detroit police officer, who invented the first four-way, three-color traffic light, adding a yellow caution light to the existing red and green system. In 1923, a man named Garrett Morgan patented a three-position electric traffic signal, which greatly improved safety. This patent was later sold to General Electric. Of course it was. In the 1920s, automated timers were introduced, allowing signals to change at fixed intervals without a human operator. In the 1950s, the computerized era began with pressure control devices installed in the streets, which were able to register and measure traffic from the weight of cars with the top of them. In 1963, Toronto became the first city to completely computerize its traffic signal system. And in the 1990s, countdown timers were introduced to help manage driver expectations. And today, modern traffic lights use sensors, cameras, and other technology to optimize traffic flow and are controlled by sophisticated computer systems. And I won't get into all of the various sophisticated systems involved in today's traffic control devices. You know, traffic lights. We are all familiar with the red, amber, and green system that we use today. There are a myriad of other technologies built into all of our traffic control devices at intersections that we use. They are quite sophisticated now, and there is a lot of monitoring that goes on at intersections depending on where you live in the world. If you live in some of the more technologically advanced countries like the United Kingdom, the United States, Western Europe, then you will find that you are heavily monitored at intersections and places like that. And that is not a discussion that we're going to have here, but it is interesting how far we've come in 120 plus years with that. Now, why I thought that was interesting is that, in life, we have our own sort of monitoring systems. We don't have, obviously, physical red, green, and amber lights to tell us what to do and what not to do and when to proceed and when not to proceed. But God is very faithful, to give us mentors, to give us family members, to give us friends, to give us, if you want to think about it in simple terms, regulations, governments, laws, and things like that to help us know when to proceed, how to proceed, and things like that in our life. So here are some Bible verses that I think might apply to some of those things. Ephesians 5:15 and 16. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Proverbs 4:26. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Colossians 4:6. Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. I think I wanted to read some from the New Testament. Yes. 1 John 4:1. Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. And then another one that I love, James 4:17. If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them. God gives us people and things and events in our life, throughout our life, that if we are wise and discerning, then we can know whether we should proceed or not proceed, whether we should go quickly or slowly into a decision or not. And it is, of course, our decision because He gives us free will. We can do something if we want to do it, or we can not do it. We can choose to wait on His timing or not wait. The decision is really always up to us. And that is the good thing about God. It is always our decision. We will reap the benefits and the rewards or the consequences depending on whether we've acted wisely or foolishly. And that is how I got to the point of traffic lights today. I was thinking, because I am going through some decisions in my own life right now and trying to act wisely and not foolishly, and trying to proceed with caution and not haste, not to move too quickly on some things. I hope you will do the same thing. I hope that God has placed people in your life to help you make those decisions wisely. And if you do have those people, I hope that you will make the best use of them. And if you are one of those people in someone else's life, I hope that you will help them to make the best decision that they can make. Anyway, that's all I have today. I hope you found something good in all of this. Remember, God is real. God is everywhere you need Him to be at exactly the right time. And He loves you. And I love you too. I hope you'll come back tomorrow.